they beat him mercilessly too with flashlights. Internal Affairs took pictures, but then lost them. Internal Affairs lost the pictures. They didn't know what to slap on me, the same way they don't know what to slap on Antonio. They said I was, again, they used that I had spit on them. I didn't spit on them. They used that I had incited a riot. I didn't do that. Abusive language, I didn't do that. 2 years later, they keep changing what they're going to charge me with. I have chill bumps. They also asked me never to talk about it, just like they did back then. We have to talk about it. We have to be involved. But it's horrible. Yes, we do. And it's every time we usually not children. We have to speak about it. My healing, I don't think I have yet to heal over it. I grew tumors as a result from what they did to me. I was the victim. Who took care of my medical? No one took care of my medical but me. I'm now disabled. Antonio is really our crusader now at this point. But let us also not forget the bloodshed of other citizens that we've had here. And now bloodshed of canines. We can't have that. We can't have them kill our animals either. You know, so what we're doing is so important, and I want to thank all of you. But it just never ends. And I can even go even further and tell you about police abuse. For me, a rape that resulted in a child by Bastrop police also. Now, where does it end? Where does it end? When someone calls for help, you're going to go help a person. That's what Antonio was doing that day, that night. We don't forget those times. I can try and forget, I can't forget. But so, I want to thank you for bringing this forward and for letting me speak about it, because I have been feeling better than I have spoken about it. But it is so wrong to put false allegations that change your life that may change your future also. And we have to stop all these incarcerations too. We have too many prisoners also that are innocent and most ridiculous charges. And it scars you for life. And people will see that in your record. We can stop it. But the police chief here in Austin is the one. I declare you could do it every morning. Hey guys, go out there and do your job. Don't be hurting people, just do your job. They don't have to kill us. They don't have to beat us. They can do their work. We're not the criminals. Most people are good people, and I can't say that about policemen anymore. I used to think I could say that, but I can't say that anymore. And I know what they've done to you is put lies against you. You were a beautiful young man. You are a warrior also. They don't like you either, so.
Thank you, Claudia. She brings up a really interesting point, and it's the fear, the very specific fear of retribution that they bring upon you, that they threaten you to not talk about it again. That's a common thing, especially amongst communities of color. That's why a lot of people say, oh, well, there's not that many complaints filed with the police monitor's office. Well, of course, a lot of it is because we know that it's a toothless institution that won't go anywhere. But by the same token, the fear of retribution is very real, and we have to recognize those risks, and that we're all at different levels of risk depending on what our privilege level is. But this is real, and to step up and speak out is very empowering and powerful for us to hear and to share in your pain, so that we can be more involved and to have stronger voices, I think, as well. I've seen those videos from the 70s that Paul Hernandez, I've seen the video of him being beaten by police. This was a daily occurrence, guys. Anytime they gathered to stand up for their rights, there was batons hurling and just left and right. And like, Paul Hernandez is in a wheelchair, and this is not partly due to some of these horrific beatings he suffered. He's disabled as well as Claudette. This affected people's lives for the rest of their lives, and they led the path, they led the way. And again, we have a certain amount of privilege nowadays to bring this out and be public. We have the cameras now. We can prove things now. Antonio is this case in point, that we can prove that they've done wrongdoing to us. Back then, having a video camera, having a film recorder in hand was a very rare occurrence. So the accountability wasn't there. Of course, they always lost their tapes, and we never, could get justice. So the beatings are a little bit less these days. They're a little less intense because they know the cameras are there, and so we have to continue to do that. So let's move Antonio, and then we'll have some dialogue.
So I think most people here have probably heard my story by now, where I was driving home on New Year's Day, pulled into the gas station with a friend to fill up with gas, and ultimately saw two cops begin to assault a female. Originally they said because she was interfering with their investigation by speaking too loudly, and then that was proven to be false. And what they really assaulted her for was one cop told her to get off her phone. She was on the phone with the person who was going to pick her up. If her driver got a DUI that night, her driver still wasn't arrested at that point. They told her to get off the phone. She didn't move with enough alacrity to get off the phone, and so they ended up assaulting her. Me and my friend started trying to take pictures, and I started to ask questions of the police, so they decided to assault me. And like they did with Claudita and Abel, they said that I spit in the cop's face. All lie. Fortunately for me, I've had 3 witnesses step forward. I've had one with video. There's a 7-Eleven surveillance camera which shows that the cops lied. The cop's own dash camera, video, audio portion proves that the cops lied. And in fact, everything the cops have said thus far has been disproven by their own testimony based on the evidence that is now available. So I'm lucky, extremely lucky. But it was after this event that I had so many people come out and reach out to me and tell me their own personal story. Abel was actually one of the first ones. And some of the stories were really bad. And Abel, for example, when he told me that the day that he got arrested, that was the last time he saw freedom for 2 years, because he couldn't make bond. And so, despite the fact that he didn't commit the crime that they claimed he committed, he's in jail now for 2 years, never got to say goodbye to his kids. Really tough on his family life. And now it's hard for you to get a job. Who wants to hire a felon, right? These cops have just destroyed so many lives. The cop raped you. Another woman I know got raped on the east side because the cop thought she was a prostitute. Another guy got picked up on 6th Street. They took him to a secluded lot. They beat him so bad that they shattered his jaw, called his sister, told her to come to the hospital to see him. And when she showed up, they said, well, this is because of a fight that he was in on 6th Street. And these stories just kept coming out, more and more and more. And it's been pretty rough to have to hear the stories, because I'm so lucky. I didn't even get assaulted so bad that I got hurt. I mean, God was just pushing me in the chest. But there are so many people who have been victimized brutally here in Austin by the APD and around the country. And most of the time, the cops get away with it, and the people just don't care, and it's a shame.
Antonio.
I'd just like to say, for all of us here, our stories are the little stories. What I'm really here for, and the reason I want to speak out is because there's people that have been getting murdered in this town. That's the real issue. That's what we really need to focus on. Because my crime, what happened to me was a small group of unarmed men getting shot in the back. That's the real reason that I feel that we need to come together, because it's only a matter of time that they're going to murder somebody else. And if we don't put a stop to it, if we don't stand up and say we've had enough, they're never going to get the message. And more people are going to get victimized. And more people are going to get sent to prison. And more people are going to get their lives ruined. And if this movement can help us to save the next person down the line, then we've made
of us have seen it. And many of you don't know that Antonio's gotten to see that because he did file a complaint with the police monitor's office, and they sit him down. He can't record that session, and they show him their evidence against him. That's about the only time that he gets to see that, or anybody gets to see that, because they're still not releasing that video to us. And he may not even, if he doesn't get indicted, or if he gets indicted and it moves forward, he may never even get it from a legal standpoint, but from a court of law. So there's one advantage there to filing that complaint, is you might actually get to see the evidence against you. So that's why he's seen 3 things now, and he can definitively say they have lied, and he can document that. This is a new turn of events. This stuff is actually happening. We're just talking about Rodney Reed a little bit ago, who's still on death row in Texas because essentially a really bad police officer killed his fiancée, and they set Rodney Reed up for it. Because he was black and lived in a rural community, of course. So that police officer, though, did finally get indicted and prosecuted and sent to jail. We actually have a police officer in jail right now for charged with it's sexual misconduct. They can't even do rape. It's not even rape. If you're an officer of the law, you don't rape. You just sexually misconduct yourself. But he is hopefully not having a very good time in state jail being a cop. So the momentum is there, is what I'd like to say. And Claudette, I think you were trying to say something.
I don't know if y'all realize, but Antonio is still facing a felony charge. This is a most serious charge of an innocent man. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I'm just one of many people right now in the system who are innocent, that are being taken for a ride. And there's, I don't know, probably hundreds of thousands of people who sit in jail right now today who didn't commit the crime that they were charged with. And maybe they pled down to something lesser. But I know here in Austin, there's, as of the last check a couple months ago, there are 37 active cases where apparently people have spit in cops' face. It's just complete garbage. We all know no one goes around spitting in cops' faces because we know that they have rights that are well above ours, and that if you even pull away from a cop, you get charged with battery, assaulting a cop. So the idea that there's 37 people right now who have spit on a cop in the system is a joke, and the entire justice system is a joke here in this area, probably in the entire country. And I'm fighting my case, and they're drawing out as much as they can, and they're trying to suppress as much information as possible. And I'm lucky because I have all this information outside of the police department. I feel so bad for the people who never make bond, they never get to see the light of day, and they never get to see the evidence against them, and they're just in a state of limbo, waiting for the ultimate decision that comes down from a corrupt system that sentences them to prison for something they didn't do.
Sorry, talk about Norma.
Norma was the female who got assaulted by the cops that night. Norma she was just out having fun with her friend on New Year's Day. She was going home. They get pulled over for a DUI. She literally just wanted her friend to be safe. And so she said, you don't have to submit to a breathalyzer. You don't have to submit to a field sobriety. Cop told her to shut up. She said it again. Cop got really mad, told the other cop to go over and deal with her. And then that cop, by this time she's on her phone. She's not even interfering like they claimed she was. And the cop just said, get off your phone, you have 10 seconds. And she didn't hang up the phone quickly enough because, God forbid, she was talking to the person who was going to pick her up. And they assaulted her. They couldn't get her on anything because she didn't do anything. But they ultimately charged her with public intoxication, which is a charge that they can hit you with even if you haven't had a drop of alcohol. She came out with her story after the news broke. And 11 days later, after the event, they charged her with 2 new crimes just to get her.
The day after she was on Fox.
The day after she was on the local Fox station, they charged her with 2 new crimes, disobeying a public official and resisting arrest. And so this is the way that they work. They're vindictive. The system protects criminal cops, and they don't protect innocent people.